Now, did Stephen King inspire you to write this book?
No, he did not. Stephen King inspired me to read a lot of stuff. A lot of it is, to be honest, my personal preference is science fiction. Okay, and I have written a book that one day, once I've got my current projects out of the way, I will shift genres and actually get into the science fiction genre. I've already written a book. It's called The Crusader Chronicles. It's a sci-fi fantasy book. It's kind of like set in a totally different world, but it asks the question: what if the gospel never got out? You know, so, and it's within a mythical setting, but there's no dragons, there's no elves, there's no dwarves.
Magic?
There is magic, yes. But there's no elves, no dwarves, no ogres, nothing like that whatsoever.
Hogwarts?
No, there's no Hogwarts. No, there's not, no. But it's a completely, it's really different. And one of these days, it's going to come out. Maybe in a couple of years, I don't know. Right now, I'm currently working on a book with a World War II veteran named Bob Corbin. My publisher put me in touch with him about a month ago, and he just came down last weekend and spent a week with me. I interviewed him, and he has hired me to write his World War II experience in Nazi Germany. And so we went to the World War II Museum in New Orleans, and Mississippi Press did a story on us. And we made front page.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, yeah, that's them hat.
I do, yeah. Yeah, I love this hat.
I like it.
Yeah, thank you. So last week was my first time meeting Mr. Corbin, and he's 87 years old. He was part of a group of POWs that escaped. Have y'all heard of the show Hogan's Heroes?
Yeah.
He escaped from the prison camp that Hogan's Heroes was based upon. Stalag 13. Yes, Stalag 13. General Patton's son-in-law was in the prison camp with him, and General Patton ordered a task force to break through the German front lines, travel 50 miles through German territory, all the way to the rear echelon, break through Stalag 13's gates, and rescue as many POWs as possible. 600 to 700 men jumped on a armored caravan of about 50 to 60 American vehicles, and they started making their way out of the camp. They got about 10 miles, and the Germans started surrounding them. The commander of the camp, I think this was it, Captain Good, he informed those men who were unarmed or injured, okay, the rest of us who are armed, we're going to stay and fight the Germans. Those of you who are unarmed or injured, I suggest you go back to camp. Well, Bob had always been told, if you ever get outside of the prison war camp, you have a 50-50 chance. So he turns to Lieutenant J. Drake, one of his friends, and he says, I'm making a break for it, what about you? Jay says, yeah. Oh yeah. And so he goes to his other friend, Lieutenant Dallas Smith. He says, Smitty, Smitty, give me your canteen. Smitty says, why? He says, because Jay and I are making a break for it. He says, no, you're not. He says, what do you mean? He says, not without me. So these three men struck out from the caravan. They headed for the trees. And they spent the next 9 days crossing Germany until they made it to Allied territory that the Allies held. And the book is about, it's in a fictional setting in that because Bob wanted the story told fictionally, but based on true events. Okay, so there's going to be a little bit of embellishment here and there, but generally it's going to be sticking true to the narrative of what actually happened. I am currently posting Bob's interviews, clips from Bob's interviews on YouTube. So if you go to Bob Corbin, go to YouTube and look up Bob Corbin or my name, Todd Doyle, you'll be able to find the interviews. And I'm posting those on a just about everyday basis. And he spent 9 days crossing German territory, wound up getting back to Allied territory, and then from there they were taken to Paris, and eventually they made it home. When I met him, he said, I have been, for the past 50 years, I've been looking for somebody to write my story. And when Lockbox came out, my publisher, who's in a sideways connected with him, whose husband knows Bob, very good friends with Bob, has been talking about this for years. And after he read Lockbox, he said to Bob, I think I found your author. There you go. You know. This isn't anything that I generated on my own. This is purely a gift from God. God dropped it in my lap. I mean, my publisher called me up out of the blue and said, hey, you know, I got a possible project for you. What do you think? And I said, oh my word, yes, I'll do it. What's his number? I'll call him. And we called him, talked to him, and boom, had it right off. This is something that is, I guess for the first thing I want to say to you about success, okay, because that's what Lockbox 436 is all about, is about how to be successful in life, okay. Success comes when you're open for it, okay. Success comes when you're open for it. And what I mean by that is that God has a way of testing to see whether or not we're going to be persistent in what we really want to do. Okay? And if we're persistent, and remember what I say here, persistence is king. Persistence is king. If we're persistent in what we really want to do, then, and we keep knocking on that door, eventually, God's going to say, okay, all right, Todd, you really want this, I'm going to go ahead and let you have it. And so, that's what's happening, you know. And I would follow that up with success is about being open to it. It's also, you got to dedicate yourself to the hard work. It's hard work being successful, guys. It's so hard. It's so hard to be successful because you have to be persistent and you have to have an attitude of, oh yes, I can do this. And I'm not speaking from a positive self-help kind of mentality of I'm special, but I'm speaking from a biblical perspective of I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. God gives you your dreams. Everything comes from Him. Everything. And God gives you the dreams. So don't be afraid to dream big. Don't be afraid to recognize that, you know, just as much as He gives you the breath in your lungs and keeps your heart beating and keeps the neurons in your brain firing correctly, He also gives you the dreams that you wake up the next morning and you say, I think I want to be a movie star. Or I think I want to be a pianist. You know? Or I think I want to be president. You know, that He's the one that gives that to you. Okay?